A very good morning to all. Welcome to today's session. Every once in a while, a new technology, an old problem, and a big idea turn into innovation. I take it as a proud privilege to welcome dignitaries of the day, Director of the Institute, Dr. Rajesh Goel, sir, Dean Research, Innovation and Development, Dr. Anuranjan Mishra, sir, Head of Computer Science and Engineering Department, Dr. Rajdev Tiwari, sir. Keynote speaker of the day, Sri Rajesh Dogra ji, Global Program Director, my dear participants and colleagues to the webinar on transforming public services through innovation. On behalf of inviting and organizing Institutions Innovation Council GNIOT Greater Noida. Dear students, the only way you survive is you continuously transform into something. It's the idea of continuous transformation that makes you an innovative person or company. With this brief introduction, I would like to request Head of the Computer Science and Engineering Department, Dr. Rajdev Tiwari, sir, to give the welcome address. Sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. So, respected Rajesh Dogra ji, our Director, Dr. Rajesh Goel, sir, Dean Research and Innovation, Dr. Anuranjan Mishra, my dear fellow faculty members and students. I formally welcome you all to this event, and on my own behalf as well as on the behalf of GNIOT group of institutions. Well, it sounds very nice that we talk about the transformation, and transformation not in one domain, transformation basically in various domains. But the person like Rajesh Dogra ji can only tell what kind of efforts you need to put to bring the actual transformation. I mean, the current generations may not have seen the scenario of the passport or the passport seva in the India, what was the case earlier. But the generations like we have seen the situation before 2008, and we are witnessing the situation what is currently. So of course, it is a big transformation that we can experience, especially in the area of passport. So a big transformation, really it is appreciable. But as I mentioned, the effort and the kind of things were involved into the complete history only can be narrated by the person who has practiced all these things. It is none other than Mr. Rajesh Dogra. So anyways, certain aspects definitely I would like to come up with, and I'll expect if Rajesh ji can add some aspect of those things into his address. May I request Anuranjan sir to kindly please mute yourself. Thank you, sir. So I was just mentioning that I'll expect from Rajesh sir to, Rajesh Dogra sir to come up with the aspects, certain aspects that I am going to highlight. First, what was the case of the passport seva kendras before the TCS took over into the 2008, and what actually is the PPP model, and how successful this triple P model was, especially keeping the passport seva kendras in the mind, and this passport seva project especially. And of course, there was a development in 2017 when I don't know whether it was the vulnerability into the the agreement between the Ministry of External Affairs and the TCS, or it was the need when the postal services were integrated into this passport seva. And I read a news in which there was, in fact, initially some resistance from the TCS side, and then finally they welcomed it, and they finally scaled up their team, and they are performing excellent in the area of passport. Coming to the technology aspect, I would definitely like to know from the Rajesh Dogra sir in his address, is there any plan of TCS or the Indian government to bring some blockchain based solutions into this passport kind of services, especially in India. So with these kind of expectations, I would again welcome you all to this event and wish you a very successful event ahead. Welcome to the Rajesh Dogra sir once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the warm words of welcome. Next, I would like to request Dean Research, Innovation and Development, Dr. Anuranjan Mishra, sir, to address our students.
Respected Directors, Sir, Dean Academics, Sir, HOD CSEs, our eminent Speaker of the Day, Shri Rajesh Dogra, Sir, and viewers. Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India has established MHRD Innovation Cell to systematically foster the culture of innovation among all higher education institutions. The primary mandate of MIC is to encourage, inspire, and nurture young students by supporting them to work with new ideas and transform them into prototypes while they are informative years. In the view of the above, GNOIT has started Innovation, Incubation and Startup Council. Major focus of IISc is to create vibrant local innovation ecosystem, startup supporting mechanism in HEIs, prepare institute for Atal ranking of institutions on innovation, achievement and framework, establish function ecosystem for shouting ideas and pre-incubation of ideas, develop better cognitive ability among students. Functions of IISc are to conduct various innovation, IPR and entrepreneurship related activities prescribed by Council MIC in time-bound fashion, identify and reward innovation and share success stories, organize periodic workshops, seminars, interactions with entrepreneurs, investors, professionals, and create a mentor pool student innovators, network with peer and national entrepreneurship development organizations, create an institution innovation portal to highlight innovative projects carried out by institutions, faculty and students, organize hackathons, ideas, competitions, mini challenges, etc. with involvement of industries. Various centers at GNOIT are MSME Business Incubation Center, MSME Design Center, Institution Innovation Center, Entrepreneurship Development Cell, Center of Excellences, Startups, Internship Centers for Students. Various student bodies are Idea Club, Innovation Club, Startup Club and IP Club. With this, I will hand over to the moderator and thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I'd like to request Director of the Institute, Dr. Rajesh Goyal ji, to address and motivate our students. So welcome, sir.
Thank you, Vida ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
So at the outset, I would like to welcome Shri Rajesh Dogra ji to this nice platform, who is the Global Program Director of the Passport Seva Program being executed by TCS in partnership with the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. And the topic is definitely wonderful, transforming public services through the innovation. This is a topic which every engineer would like to hear about and would like to work upon. In India, we have seen many transformations, starting from the computers to the IT industries, to the fast communication, mobile services, metros, Aadhaar card, roads, and definitely the passport. When I graduated in 1993, then not much of the students were into the habit of making their passports. And when we discuss something about the passport with any fellow members or the parents, so they simply say that कि passport की आपको क्यों जरूरत है, आपने कोई बाहर थोड़ा जाना है. So at that moment of time, passport was considered as an instrument if we have to go abroad. तो पासपोर्ट को उसी तरह से लिया जाता था. But gradually, when the services come up fastly with respect to the passport, so everybody realized that definitely passport is an instrument which every Indian citizen must have. And this thanks to this innovation by the TCS, that nowadays the process is very fast. जो पहले पासपोर्ट बनाने में 3 महीने, 4 महीने, 6 महीने भी लग जाया करते थे, now it is so fast कि within a week and 10 days जो है पासपोर्ट आपके घर में पहुंच जाता है. So this is an innovation. So such type of the more innovations are required in India. एक मेरे सामने एक assignment नजर आता है, which I was discussing yesterday with Dr. Anoranjan sir, who is our Dean R&D, that what you see that what should be the major impact and what should happen in next 2 years, 3 years or 5 years down the line. कि अगर हम students को कोई project देना चाहें, then what should be that project? So he rightly said that इस समय जो जरूरत है, that is with regards to the drinking water. If we talk about our homes, our factories, our institutions, our organizations, so we are not getting the drinking water right into our taps. हमें filters आगे लगाने पड़ते हैं, ROs लगाने पड़ते हैं. But मेरे हिसाब से drinking water is a right of every Indian citizen, and it must reach to every tap of the every organization, every tap of the every household. So this is one of the projects which we can think about as an engineer. And again, coming to this today's platform, definitely the innovation with respect to the passport seva is marvelous, and we will learn many more things through this today's webinar and through Shri Rajesh Dogra ji. So I again welcome Shri Rajesh Dogra ji to this platform and wish all my best to the participants and the organizers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your guidance and supervision, which is always there with us. Dear participants, today we have with us an expert and eminent personality from industry with us, Shri Rajesh Dogra ji, who is Global Program Director of Passport Seva Program being executed by TCS in partnership with Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Shri Rajesh Dogra is an experienced IT industry capital markets professional, P&L owner, and a customer-focused operations and business strategist. With diverse experience in incubating and leading very large, high-impact IT-enabled programs, bringing immense value, growth, and transformation, he has led some path-breaking and award-winning domestic and global programs. He possesses skills encompassing program management, IT services management, financial services management, business operations, change management, business development, and project delivery execution across widespread geographies, both in India and abroad. He specializes in building and nurturing organizations and has led large teams in several projects as incubating startups from scratch, transforming ideas to execution of running multi-locational, large and diverse IT and business operations. With over 24 years of experience, Shri Rajesh Dogra ji has managed several key initiatives, including setting up large service delivery platforms, incubating and nurturing service institutions like startups across multiple locations in several countries, leading business operations of critical and mission mode e-governance programs of Government of India. With robust program management skills and a vision to have customer as a real focus of everything he does, he has helped in bringing benefits of e-governance to the doorsteps of common citizens of India. He is currently the Global Program Director of Passport Seva Program being executed by TCS in partnership with Ministry of External Affairs in India and across the world, leading a team of over 2,500 professionals spread across 120 locations. With this brief and spectacular background, I would like to welcome Sri Rajesh Dogra ji once again. I would like to hand over the session to him so that he can continue with today's webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming once again.
Thank you very much, Madam, for your introduction. And thanks, Mr. Goel, Mr. Tiwari, and Anuranjan ji for inviting me for this webinar. Good morning to all of you and all the attendees who have joined us across. So in the COVID times, of course, the good, it would have been actually ideal to be interacting one-to-one, but of course, with these challenges going on, everything has to be online. So I think this is the best option available today to interact. But my suggestion would be, while I'll be covering a very broad spectrum of what we have done and the opportunities, in future, I would encourage the students to pose questions and queries, because a mind which is always thinking would always be able to find solutions to the most complex problems, is what I believe. So before I share my screen and the presentation, a few things. In fact, when I heard Mr. Tiwari and Madam about the background that you want me to give before I start off my presentation, so I will take a couple of minutes and share with you, where we have come from, where were we earlier. My presentation also will cover some of the points, but to give you a very broad background. So in India, I mean, when we talk about the IT revolution, it started many, many years back. We are all aware, whether it was, starting off the railway bookings, I would say more than 30, 35 years back. And after that, many government departments and the banking became completely automated. Most of the banks adopted the technology. Gradually, several other government departments, and of course, in the private side, companies embarked upon the journey of technology-enabled processes and work. So IT revolution is certainly not new to India. We have been the flag bearers. Companies like TCS have actually built the entire IT very, very robust infrastructure in India. And now, of course, we are a leading force to reckon with across the world. All our associates across the world where we are operating from. We help the countries, and we help the nations, we help the companies, we help communities to use IT, innovatively and deliver their services to their stakeholders. So a lot of, water has flown under the bridge in the last 25, 30 years, and we have seen amazing transformation in the way IT is being used or deployed in several functions or the activities across the spectrum of, society, industry, business, and everything. One of the as early starters in India, in the year, I believe 2006 or 7, there was something called as NEGP, which is National E-Governance Program, was mooted by the central government of India, wherein around 28 different segments of the governance were identified as being a potential to bring the transformation in the services. So the government sat and looked at several areas where it required to deploy IT even more. And when we say IT, I mean, for the students, you must understand that IT is no more purely computerization or software or hardware infrastructure or DC, DR. IT is much beyond. When the government or any organization looks at the IT or the software, in the last decade or so, the entire focus has changed from the input to the output. I mean, earlier, whenever we spoke about IT enablement, one would count how many servers you require, how many racks you require, you need LAN cabling, you need computers, you need these software, these components, you need vScope software, you need, COTS software, all those things we would talk. While we still talk about it, but we also talk about now is the outcome. I mean, what is it that we are attempting to achieve? I mean, that has now become the most important aspect of, automation. So the objectives, what should be the outcome finally, and everything then works toward that particular outcome. So when it comes to the governments put very, very severe SLAs, which are called service level agreements, wherein first the government defines the SLAs. What are the terms of this engagement? What is it that the government is trying to achieve by doing it? And then the entire infrastructure, your application, your architecture, software, everything is designed in such a way that you are finally able to achieve all the service level agreements that you commit right in the beginning when you contract with the government. Even in the private organizations, when the IT services are being brought, the first thing that everybody talks about is the SLA, so that you should all know that. So going back to the government, sorry. Going back to the NEGP, National Governance Program. So out of the areas that that government looked at, the passport service was one of the prominent ones which became part of this entire initiative. Before that, some of you might have heard of MCA 21, which was Ministry of Corporate Affairs. In the 21st century, that was the first program launched by the government under the e-governance in PPP model, and fortunately, TCS got awarded, and I ran that program for many years before I moved on to the passport. From 2004, I believe, till about 2008. So, passport, because let's go back to history and see, as Mr. Tiwari had also mentioned, that we all had. When I made my first passport, I recall, when I got the booklet in my hand, it was as if I had won an award, or maybe I was running a marathon and I had, been awarded this medal in the form of a passport. So we all know that, and you can't blame the governments because, I have seen it very closely. The resources used to be extremely, insufficient. The dilapidated old application system, lesser number of people. The infrastructure, because India being a developing economy had other areas to invest. So it's not that government deliberately wanted to keep services in a poor shape, but because of the budget allocations and because of the situation overall, they had other things to, invest upon and focus upon. So some of the areas probably could not be given as much focus as probably as citizen we would have expected. But nevertheless, there was a time in 2006, 2007, when the economy was opening up after the 1991 changes, as some of you may have studied, when the economy had opened up and the MNCs would come to India, India could go out, there were no restrictions, the licenses and all were taken off. Economy started growing, and it was in the year 2005 and 6 that government felt that there would definitely be a need to, open up much more and become more accessible to the citizens who need more services. And that's how slowly and gradually, this passport came as part of the NEGP, and it was decided that we should bring transformation in the passport domain for the citizens of India. And in terms of the motivators, as I'll be covering in my presentation, there were several reasons why government wanted to do that. And government also dwelt upon several models, where it could be purely government run program, or it could be in partnership. And you all know that, when it comes to the private partnership, PPP model, there are SLAs I had mentioned earlier, and it's very transparent. So the basic premise of, minimum government and maximum governance, as every government now is focusing upon, it is realized through the PPP model, wherein the government participates more in the policy and also in the overall direction, whereas the execution is done by an expert, like TCS, who would bring in the global experience and the people and the technology and the latest and the new processes and the world-class, state-of-the-art, complete setup end-to-end, including the governance, and deliver the programs. Whereas the government would play a role of a facilitator, as an enabler, and also as a role of an overall, strategic controller of the program. So in PPP, it's not that TCS took over passport issuance. It is not like that. Some people, understand it like this. But let me just explain to you that in the PPP model, the strategic control continues to be with the government. So they own the data, they control all the assets which are required. The software is owned by the government, so it is TCS which would build everything and then, in a way, hand over to the MEA and then operate the system as part of the PPP model. So it is more of a facilitation, providing IT support, providing people, running the operation and the system across the country and now globally. But the control and the ownership continues to be the government. So TCS doesn't decide that who should get the passport. It's the government, as we call them, PIAs, passport issuing authorities, the power which is vested in the granting officers of the government of India who take a final call. But we provide them all the information. The application enables, all that. So that's how the whole PPP model works, whether it is passport or NCA 21 or other income tax programs such as income tax. That's a brief background. With this, I think we are good to move on to the presentation, and I hope my is visible. If, 1 second. Yeah, are you able to see the deck?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Great. Okay. So I have given a very thought-provoking and a simple title: transforming public services through innovation. As I said initially, IT is an enabler. I can tell you that TCS has used state-of-the-art technology. We have used and deployed best available products and services and done everything. But if the willingness to change and to adapt to the innovations wasn't there, you would not have seen the success that we have seen it. So we have to look at all the changes and the initiatives and the innovations along with the human factor. So I think the first lesson for all the students today is, as I also gave a hint in the beginning, that everything that you do, the changes, the innovations, there's a big human factor. The adaptability, acceptability is extremely important. And that only would lead to transformation, whether it is public services or any industry that you're working for. Until you understand the real need and work towards an objective or an outcome and work with people to bring that change, it's very difficult. And we have gone through, project by project, we have seen that one has to work very closely with the people who are important, people who are the real stakeholders, and people who are really, really committed to bring the transformation. So we will have walk through about the Passport Seva as to how we had started off and where we are and what is the future. And as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the most successful and the largest mission mode program under the National E-Governance program. So what is Passport Seva? What was the need? What was the mission? And how we have arrived where we are today. See, when the NEGP was, conceptualized and incubated, certain mission statements were made by the government, and I can tell you, vouch for it, that these mission statements were not only for the sake of good looking or sounding good. They were basically meant to be achieved. And you will see that the government and TCS have come together to make sure that every word of the mission is realized in the best possible manner. So the idea was to bring in, so if you look at what it was earlier, and the mission or the vision basically would make sure that every shortcoming for whatever reason was there was taken care of. So what we had at that time, we didn't have timely services. There was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of opacity. We all know there was lack of transparency. I recall when I handed over my application so many years back, to somebody who was sitting across the window to whom I couldn't even see. And from there on, I had no idea of what was happening to my passport application. It just went into a black box. And it took months and months, for me to finally get my passport. So in this 3 months, 4 months time, I had no idea. I had no clue. So, it was completely uncertain, opaque system. So government wanted to bring timely services delivery, transparency, more accessibility. I mean, there were only 36, I believe, regional passport offices across India. working from around 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in public services, each one must be having around 4 to 5 counters. So for the entire country, you had not more than approximately 200 service counters, working for 5 hours in a day. So you can calculate, 1,000 working hours per day were available to the entire country, of billion people. And so there was less of accessibility, and people had to travel, to
Rajesh, sir, you are not audible. Can you unmute yourself? Sir, switch on your mic. Your mic is muted. Now,
am I audible now?
yes, sir, you are audible.
Hold on. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Some problem. Okay. So accessibility, one had to travel kilometers, go to the main cities and towns to apply for the passport. There were no services available in the smaller towns, mofussil towns and villages. And the reliability, again, was a doubt because, I always call it, it was, mystified. There was a mystery, mystical, you actually didn't know what to do when you go for a passport. So you had to either approach, initially there was no even website. Even if website was there, the clarity wasn't there, and you had to approach some travel agent or a broker who would facilitate your application, will guide you. And there was a 32-page document advisor, which you would take hours to, actually decipher, what exactly you were supposed to do. So there were a lot of issues. So that's how the whole vision of, bringing timely services, transparency, accessibility, and reliability, and in the comfortable environment. So when you walked into if you look at the left-hand side of my slide, these are the photographs that we took in 2008, when we were doing a study, how we should transform the services. So we could see those iron grills and the windows where people would line up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you will have 1,000 people standing by the time the office opens. Around 200 will get the service, others will remain unserviced, and they'll come back the next day, and then this whole process will go on for many, many days until you are actually able to file the application. So this is how it used to be. So reach was very limited. There were hardly any number of offices. Forget about the amenities. I mean, you could not even enter the passport office. You had to stand outside in the sun and the rain. And another issue was, while the Passport Act has been there for more than 53 years, there were a lot of interpretation. So what happens when you have a disjointed system, when you have lack of standardization, and which is very important for each one of you to understand. There were 36 different passport offices, so each one headed by a senior officer called the passport office. And under the passport officer, there are staff members who would interpret the rules, as per their convenience. Because there was no centralized application or system, people couldn't understand. So if you are going to Mumbai, or if you come to Delhi, or if you go to Kolkata, or if you go to Ranchi, different passport offices, you would find that the interpretations of the rules were as per their convenience. The PIAs had their own comfort of, issuing the passports depending upon the documentation. They would take a call. Somebody would need 2 more papers, somebody would need 5 additional documents, somebody would need very less number of documents. It was more driven by the individual. So there's lack of standardization in the processes. I said earlier, there was no certainty. You apply for the application, you would not have any idea. The demand, however, was growing big time because India's youth was really aspiring, to go abroad for, you look at in the last 10 years, there have been a huge growth. Even before that, students wanted to go abroad to study. There was, because of the airfares falling and the improving incomes, people really wanted to travel abroad. They wanted to go for, to meet their relatives. They wanted to go for tourism. There were so many reasons why, the demand was actually growing. And also, of course, the business travel with the economy becoming global and a lot of MNCs coming to India, a lot of Indian people traveling abroad for business. So there was no doubt that the demand was growing. And at the same time, when the Indians, so when we all traveled abroad at that time, we saw how the world worked. While things have changed the last 10 years, India has really come up in the state of affairs, in the rankings in the world. But there was a time when you would feel that wish India could also have these kind of services. So when you got exposure, when citizens of India got exposure to the global best, everybody started demanding as to why India couldn't do better, or why couldn't India meet or match up with the way services are given across the world. So there was a heightened expectation of citizens, with the private players also coming. For example, many of you might have seen, government bank servicing and the private bank. So always there is a demand that why can't the government banks work like the way? Now, of course, they are much better than how it used to be earlier. Apart from that, you must know that there is an International Civil Aviation Organization. This is overarching institution which looks after the aviation business across the world. So they keep defining the standards for the passports and the travel industry. So there were requirements that all the passports have to be electronically printed. Many of us would have, of course, I got my passport printed first time when I got, but earlier they used to be handwritten passports. So the ICAO had ruled that no more handwritten passport, after a particular year cutoff. So, and the database should be centralized and there should be accessibility. So those requirements also had to be met, which could not be done at that time with the existing system. And it also, government felt that there was a need to set up one single platform, for issuing passports across India. So if you summarize, we had a paper-based manual processes. We had inadequate inquiry and MIS features. The government, if wanted to know how many passports have been issued, they used to take, weeks and weeks to collate the data from all the RPOs, because there was no centralized system robustly giving them the MIS or the reports. They were very siloed operations, as I said. You had disjointed applications, legacy systems, and you had, security loopholes, of course, when you don't have a single platform, and one had to wait for a very long time, and there was a lot of uncertainty. If you look at what we have done, while we'll go into the journey a little later, I thought you should know what has been achieved. So from a paper-based system, we are now completely paperless. Everything is application-based. You don't have to fill any physical application. You don't have to look at a 32-page advisory. You have to just log on to the website, and it takes flat 5 minutes for you to complete the process if you are able to type quickly, or maybe around 10-15 minutes. Enter your application details in the system, and then make the payment, take an appointment, and go to the PSK. We have this Passport Seva has made the entire process paperless, and we were amongst the first ones in the government where we have completely done away with the requirements of paper. So even initially for 5-6 years, when you went for your passport, you would submit all your photocopies at the PSK, which we were able to work. Again, a big innovation where we designed our application system in such a way that once you have scanned and uploaded documents, nobody can change or touch. So the need for having a physical document, centuries old, paper-based file system, was done away with around 4 years back. So all the documents that you carry now to the PSK, including your affidavits and the stamp papers, are returned back to you, because we scan them in a particular format, we get them signed by you, and then they are digitally signed by our staff, using the digital signatures, and by the government staff twice, and then they are stored permanently in the system. So it's made totally paperless. The MIS and the analytics work at the top end now. All the information is available. So when the minister or honorable minister or the chief passport officer wants the data, right now, let's say it is 11:30 a.m. They want to know what is the status at 11:25. They just have to press the button, and they will know globally how many passports are being issued today, how many have been issued, what kind of demographics or the age or the types of passports. Everything is available. That has been enabled through the new system that we have implemented. So now we have a centralized, as against the disjointed system, we have a completely digitally enabled, centralized, one single source of truth for the entire globe, for India, when it comes to the passport. Very advanced security. We have 24/7 security monitoring, operations monitoring, application monitoring. as you know, many of you are doing your IT engineering, will understand what monitoring, database, backups, archival, all that is. That it happens 24/7. So we work 24/7 into 365. You know, it continues working. And what is most important, as I said, everything that you do should work towards the outcome. And this entire program of Passport Seva is citizen centric. I mean, everything that we do, first thing we think, you know, how it is going to benefit the citizen. That is most critical. So if you look at the last tab, it's assured and fast service delivery. So it cannot be more transparent, it cannot be more accessible, and it cannot be more certain that you know everything about what is happening to your application. So it has resulted in the increase in the citizen touchpoints, as you will see in my subsequent slide. We have the world-class infrastructure. I must tell you that we are number 3 in the world in terms of issuing passports after US and China. We are catching up pretty fast with China, but our services and the application, I can tell you proudly, is amongst the best today. Even in the US, you know, you have physical paper being moved from, you know, from the residence to the offices of the passport issuance authorities in the US. They still have physical paper, and India has adopted it much earlier in the day. We are completely paperless today. So that's the infrastructure that we have been able to enable, and it's been possible. Of course, TCS has made sure that everything is taken care of, and but the credit actually goes to the Government of India and Ministry of External Affairs for adapting the change and for agreeing to the together to adopt a new application system and move into this transformation, which is extremely adventurous, to be very frank, in the beginning. And it needs a lot of effort on the part of the government to bring change amongst themselves. And I give full credit to the Government of India, for accepting and moving ahead, and in fact working hand in hand to make sure that we bring much more transformation than what was initially thought of. We brought in all the contemporary technologies, whether it is mobile applications, online payments, appointment systems. So effectively, 2 years back, we implemented the application filing also through the mobile app. So actually, you don't need a computer. You just download our app and fill the application, make the payment, take appointment, and come to the PSK. And you can track it on your mobile. And we have also enabled the police. I'll be covering briefly how we have also transformed the police by giving them a global footprint to the Indian police. They can do verification for any Indian across the world sitting in their offices here. We have given them a new application and a mobile app. As a citizen, you can track. So when I was talking about the opacity and the transparency, I think they cannot be more transparent than a system which allows you to track your application online. You get SMSs, messages, you get email updates, you can go to portal and your homepage and check what is happening. If there's a document required, it will be uploaded there. It will be mentioned in that particular note, or the granting officer in the PSK would tell you that you need. So complete transparency. The processes with all other stakeholders have now been integrated. They are no more disjointed. And of course, we have so much of passion about security. So enhanced security along with the biometric captures for the applicants, so that there's no duplicate passport issue. And then we have digital signatures. So gone are the days where you would expect a government officer to sign with a green pen on the documents. There's no more required. They all sign with using a digital signature, and this is stored in the system forever. If you look at the innovations, I would not go into the process because I'm sure most of you would have gone to the Passport Seva Kendra and seen how the system works. Right from your filling up the application online, making payment, taking appointment, arriving at the PSK, going through the 3 stages of processing: A counter, B counter, C counter, unidirectional flow, design philosophy in the PSKs. That's again an innovation that we have done. And then you go out and then you get your police verification and then you get your passport. So that's the journey that you've seen. But few of the things that I believe, when we started off, many of the things were only given as an indication, and TCS teams and the ministry had to sit together and continuously keep evolving and innovating every possible area, to make sure that we are embarking upon the success story and bringing in true transformation, which is world class. So if you look at the center point, again, citizen experience, I think what happens here is that, under the leadership of Honorable external affairs ministers, in the last 7, 8 years, and also especially during Madam Sushma Swaraj's time, there was a lot of focus on improving the experience of citizens with the government, and also several changes were made uh, in, uh, in the documentation requirements and eased out process, so that the citizens feel at ease when they are applying for the passport. They should not feel that it is difficult. It's kind of a right for obtaining a passport, I would say, though not written anywhere. But the way rules have been defined, eased and made simple, a lot of simplicity is brought. It is citizen which is in the center of everything. So when you develop an integrated and secure system, you are improving citizen experience because the entire information is available. And from the government side, it would have one single source of truth, as I said earlier, and a secure application containing the entire information of passports globally. The complete service delivery model was transformed. So what Passport Seva program did, with the innovations, if you go to the PSK, I said the completely new setup. So you no more go to a government office because government probably was not able to invest as much to build very, very spanky and swanky and state-of-the-art offices, which we stepped in and we did. So if you look at the design and the model of the PSKs across India, the design philosophy of how the zoning would be done was an innovation. We thought through, we worked with the top architects, and internally all our knowledge global we put into use. And we built this different zones A, B, C, where, applicants would arrive and there would be some bare minimum checking of documents, then token issuance, going to A counter, B counter, C counter, offering, air conditioned waiting lounges, offering tea and coffee, facility of photocopy, wheelchairs, ramps, lifts, chair lifts, very smart and young staff wearing uniforms and trained thoroughly to make sure that the applicants have a very pleasant experience. Best of this, IT state-of-the-art IT equipment, whether it is dual monitors. Many of you may have seen the monitor. One which is facing the applicant is for him or her to see that any changes being done by our executive are valid and legitimate. And then collection of biometric, and you no more have to carry the passport size photograph because our state-of-the-art cameras and the software which runs in the background validates and takes the photograph on the spot with a beautiful background that we have created. And then, application-driven workflow system where the application keeps moving electronically from A counter to B counter to C counter, and then you exit, and then you can track it on the website as to what is happening to your application. So complete experience, it used to take hours together. On an average, around an hour you take now. In 1 hour, you're out of the PSK. So complete service delivery has changed because all the non-sovereign functions, as we call them, are no more handled by the government. They're all handled by the TCS staff. And the government comes in where you need the actual governance, as I said earlier. So the decision to whether to give passport or not is only taken by the government staff. Everything else is being done by our staff. And that makes it very easy and simple for the senior government officers. And another good thing with this new model, which we have done, is that we have demystified, the services. And, you have basically brought, this whole project has brought the senior government officers right in front of you, and they are actually taking a decision on the grant sitting while you are sitting across the table. So everything which used to happen earlier in the closed doors, because you had no access of what was happening, is now happening right in front of you. So that's a big innovation, wherein you have, all that pedestals you have removed, and you have brought the services at the doorstep, rather right in front of the applicants. So when you go, you're sitting in a C counter. The senior government officer is reviewing your information, talking to you, checking the data, which is being enabled by TCS. I would not tell you, but we run several algorithms to make sure that the granting officer gets the information on the screen when you're sitting across the table, and they take a call on the spot. And you have the right to question. Earlier, if your application was rejected for whatever reason, you had to wait for months to know what happened. But here on the spot, you will be told, that your birth certificate is not proper, or your graduation certificate is not good, or your Aadhaar card is not having the correct photograph. So they'll tell you on the spot. So you have basically this entire structure that we have built, this innovation has, completely transformed the entire service delivery model. You could even track what is being done by the police on the portal. I mean, there could not be more transparency. In terms of the technology, I won't go into too much of detail, but as I said, we are using contemporary technologies and the best of IT infrastructure, whether it's a DC or a DR, the data center, data recovery center. All the PSKs are connected on a very high speed links. The police has access, all the passport officers have access, and there's a centralized data model wherein the nothing is stored, locally. Nobody can touch the information of the data. It's all stored under a secure government repository at the DC with a backup in the DR. The governance has become totally digital. As I said, no paper. When you reach PSK, we are not even issuing a paper token now. We have done away with that. So you get an SMS, you get an electronic token number, their electronic queue management system, completely paperless. It nudges you, this is the counter you have to go to. In the process, you cannot be favored by anybody. Earlier, you could actually go to a particular officer if you know. Now we have done away with all that to bring transparency. So it's a pull method where anybody who is arriving at the PSK is in a pool and being pulled by different executives, and nobody can actually decide who should go where. You could randomly be picked up and then sent to any of the counter. So that has bring a next level of transparency. So it's completely digital, electronically. System decides where you have to go, and then you go, you submit your documents electronically signed by our staff, and then the electronic file moves through a beautiful workflow end to end till the end when you get the passport and got into the record books. We have 24/7 passport portal for as against 200 hours that I said initially available to the entire country in a day. Now it is 24/7 to every citizen. Practically, you could log on anytime and apply for your passport. You can make online payment. You don't have to carry cash or go to a bank to do challan. Of course, we also understand that some of part of the India may still not be having, good access. So we have built solutions which are also helping those who are not so much able to access they don't have the access to the internet or online. So we still have the challan system, but used by very, very few people. And somebody questioned, initially that if you make it completely electronic, how would the Mofussil towns or the illiterates, probably some of them may use the system. So we brought another innovation by integrating the citizen service centers. As some of you may be aware, there's an organization under the ambit of the Government of India, the CSC. So almost 1 lakh of them, we integrated them with our applications. So now in the small villages, Mofussil towns, the applicant has to just pay 100 rupees to that local entrepreneur and get it's just like a small cyber cafe. They will do the entry, use their wallet to make the payment, and then take appointment and give it to you. And then the applicant can move to the PSK or POPSK. So appointment-based processing, though queuing up, there is no need for people to reach at 5 o'clock. E-appointments, e-tokens, and exit also we used to give a slip earlier, which we have now stopped. The SMS alerts and application e-tracking. So there are push method from our side. We keep informing you of what is happening to the application. The mobile apps for the citizens and the police, wherein you are basically keeping. 1 second. Mobile apps for the citizen and police for tracking and for experiencing the services. You can actually avail the service using the mobile app. You would have to go to your laptop. And the integrated missions. This is something that we have, recently done. And I would take a few minutes. While passport project had been launched in India, and we had integrated all the passport offices, a need was felt that there was a requirement for also bringing all the missions. So India now has around 190 Indian embassies and missions across the world, and they were also working in the way the regional passport offices were working prior to launching of the Passport Seva program. So while India had seen a lot of transformation, the missions and embassies had continued with the same old dilapidated system. So the government felt that there was a need to integrate. So we have very recently, the last 1 year or so, have told them to. We discussed and it was agreed that we would be integrating. So in the last 18 months or so, we have been able to integrate most of the large missions with the new application. So today, 140 missions and embassies out of 190 we have been able to integrate. So we traveled and visited several countries, and now all these missions, including the large ones like US, Canada, UK, and many in Australia, Now they are working on the Passport Seva application of TCS to deliver services, and that has seen amazing improvement in the speed and the certainty of service across these countries. So across India, while 100% applications are now being processed through the new system, across the globe, almost 96% applications of Indians are now being processed through the TCS Passport Seva application. That's a big innovation, though it was quite a challenging and difficult task to bring this across the world, but we have been able to do along with the ministry in the last 1.5 years. The police verification, another innovation, big changes have been done from where it used to be. I mean, some of you may not know, but when you filled a physical application many years back, 2 pages were torn, which are called personal particular forms. It was called PP form, was torn at the passport office, dispatched to the respective district. It would take 15 days for it to reach, and from there it would go to Thana, then it will come back to district office, will come back to passport office. So on an average, you should take 2.5 months or maybe infinity to get your police verification done. But this innovation of completely reimagined passport police verification, it is electronically connected digital verifications now. While still there are few more changes which are to be done going forward. But even today, when you look at it, it's completely digital. So the moment your passport is granted at the PSK, instantly the information is available even at Thana level for them to download and then immediately go for your verification. So police also electronically confirm there's no more need to move tons of pages on a daily basis that used to happen earlier. They electronically, digitally confirm, and then they also sign digitally. The information instantly travels to the regional passport officer, and practically within a minute of a positive police verification, the passport can be printed. So now it's absolutely zero delay system, and this has really helped all the states to improve their police verification time. You will see in my subsequent slides, and of course, it's a secure system. So all these innovations that we have done, have led to the service excellence with the citizen in focus. So now you have a single integrated platform for the entire globe, as I said, for India. We have digital integration. So there are so many departments, whether it is immigration department or visa department or police or so many other stakeholders who need information. So they all have it integrated. And if not, they can be integrated because now there's one single source of truth and the database, as we call it, for the passports, and any information can be quickly retrieved. The expansion. So we have leveraged the existing ecosystem. If you look at when you have a very robust and a very strong one single application, you could put it to use to bring more innovations. You could not do, for example, expansion. So when I cover the post offices, earlier, you could not think of delivering services from the post offices because they were disjointed applications across India. Now having one single server, single information center, you could actually connect any number of service centers. So we have been able to add almost 425 post offices across India, and they're using the same application to deliver services. That's a massive expansion that we have been able to achieve. The innovation related to PSK design philosophy, as I said, anywhere in the country you are in 93 PSKs, you will find that the design, the color, the walls, the flooring, the computer system, the EQMS system, application, machine, chairs, uniform of staff, everything is absolutely same. So they're all identical, and that's a single design that we have implemented across India. And that gives you a recall factor. You go to anywhere in India, the moment you enter, you will know you are on a PSK. That's the brand we have created, that you expect from the MNCs and corporates and the private banks. We have replicated the same thing for the passport so that you get a corporate feel, when you enter a PSK. All of us, feel that you're going to a government office, and we all, for due respect to the government, of course, the maintenance and all, as I said earlier, because of a lot of challenges, government sometimes is not able to manage and create very, very efficient infrastructure, wherein, private organizations like us, we have stepped in and we have built, all these centers. And you will see they are not less than any swanky glass and chrome corporate office. So that's the feeling you get when you enter, that you're in a state of the art facility. We've also built smart document advisory. I spoke about 32-page. I still have in my office, that 32-page document advisory where you will take 2 to 3 hours to figure out what documents you have to give. So in the portal we have given. So when you put so we use some sort of AI there and a smart, application where you put all your information and system then draws out into from the database as to what exactly you need for your passport application, what kind of documents, depending upon if the applicant is married, unmarried, minor, major, all those things system looks at and throws it on the screen that these are the 4 documents you have to carry. So you don't have to go through any advisory as such, on a physical paper. Infrastructure, I said, is world class. So all these changes, have led to the service excellent. The electronic queue, EQMS, was amongst the first ones implemented in India. I mean, we have seen in other places, but this is truly global, truly electronic, where it's a pull method. As I said, there's a pool of tokens, which gets created, and randomly on the FIFO basis, first in, first out, any of the counter staff, our executive or the government staff, when they pull a token, it just picks up on the FIFO basis. Of course, we have also enabled subsequently some special queues for feeding mothers or for senior citizens or anybody especially able. Sometimes they need help, so a priority token can be issued so that they get priority over others. But generally, everything is FIFO, and within that also it will be FIFO. So if there are 3 people arriving with special needs, the first one who arrived would get the service first time, not only at A counter but also at B and the C counter. Completely technology enabled algorithms so that we have one person, one passport. So system checks thoroughly. So not only we have built this new system, we also migrated huge data from the earlier application of the NIC, and system checks and complete documents which are available from the earlier system, from the new system, and the information which is available, system validates before issuing you the passport, so that, and if you have ever issued a passport, it will come onto the screen. So make sure that there are no duplicate passports issued. Another problem we faced was that if, I am from Delhi and I'm traveling to Mumbai, and my passport is expiring and I'm going to be there in Mumbai for 15 days, I had no choice but to come back to Delhi and apply. So we have done away with that. So you can use your mobile app or laptop, website. Now it's One India model where you can apply from anywhere. We also found that, Mofussil towns or faraway reaches, like some places in Ladakh or in Northeast or even in, Andaman Nicobar, some locations where the PSK wasn't available, there were large group of people who wanted to apply for passport. They had to travel, spend thousands of rupees. So government, with their citizen-centric initiative, we decided together that we should build a mobile solution. So we built something called as mobile camps. So a new system was created, which was part of the overall main system, but had the ability to travel to the actual doorsteps. You might have heard of Sarkar Aapke Dwar, and that's not only the word, it's actually in action, wherein our team travels to the small towns and villages with their equipment, and they are able to make the applicants apply for the passport sitting in their, in the villages, and the application is processed end to end. So that has been a major innovation. And I must also share that we have used this system to also set up mobile camps in several colleges and institutions across India. We have conducted almost 500 camps. We call it Student Connect program, where institutes and colleges like you invite us. And now, of course, because of COVID, we're not doing for the last couple of months, but we'll restart again, where if there are 100, 200 students who want to apply for the passport, our staff and government staff would go, set up this center in one of the rooms in the college, and your passport actually would be processed on the spot there, including taking your biometrics and the photograph. So that innovation has really helped us to reach out to the last mile, and from the services of passport, which were thought to be only an urban phenomenon, has now become truly democratic, and we have democratized the passport issuance, that anybody who wants passport can actually apply for it and get it. Another innovation in the government, sometimes when a lot of students apply for passports when they are traveling, go to start their sessions overseas or holiday season, there are spikes. So we would analyze using the data that there were certain months where a spike would happen. And that would lead to, appointment cycle being going beyond 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. So we decided, first time, that the PSKs would remain open on a Saturday or a Sunday or a holiday. And we call them passport melas. Big innovation because you would generally not see government staff working on weekends. But we together decided that another step towards citizen service, we keep, whenever there is a load, we will open the PSK on Saturday as usual and people can come and apply for their passports. And I said earlier, more than a lakh citizen service centers integrated so that small towns and mid towns and the villages, these local entrepreneurs can help the applicants to file their applications without coming to the city in the beginning. The biometric login. So every staff uses the biometrics for logging so that security is taken care of. Digital signature. So the entire audit trail is maintained forever. Whoever touched the application in the office, whoever has taken a decision or given a comment, it's all the logs are maintained perennially. We are aware, we arrived at 10, 2 minutes past 10. Your token was issued at 10 minutes past 10. Your A counters are called at so and so time. Your B counter, you granted application at 10:45, and then you left at 10:50. All the records are available. That's the digital enablement that we have brought, and everything is digitally signed so that there is no, for the non-repudiation purpose, everything is available. And multi-factor authentication mechanism, of course, for digital signature, and we have VPN integration for monitoring, and also all the PSKs are CCTV enabled. There is complete security surveillance, fire, all these things are taken care of. In police, we have come to the Thana model. So all the Thanas are integrated. Any Thana which wants to use a tab can download our mobile app and do the verification from there. We have given global footprint to the Indian police. So all the mission and embassies, when they are sending any application, earlier it used to take months. They would email it to the RPO and then it will go to police. So if there is somebody sitting in New York for whom the police verification of the permanent address is to be done, would take 3 months, 4 months time. But in the last 1 year with our change, I am aware of the cases where police verification is carried out within 3 days to 4 days. It also depends, of course, on the police efficiency. A couple of months because of the COVID, I think police was focusing more on the COVID management, but generally it takes very, very less time now. Average time is around 15, 16 days only across the world and India especially. But globally now, if in New York a police verification is asked for, within few seconds it's available to the local Thana, whether it is in UP, Bihar, Delhi, Mumbai, anywhere. And practically on the same day, police verification can be carried out and the passport can be issued in New York within a day. So that is what it has now enabled. So it is giving Indian police a global footprint for giving the verification to the Indian citizen anywhere on the globe. And as I said, we have done mobile app and web-based police verification enablement. Technology, as you will understand, keeps evolving. So there is nothing called, that you have achieved and there is nothing more to be done. You will all understand. So when we started in 2008 and 9, there were few things. They evolved, we innovated, we continuously engaged, and we kept on bringing the new technologies. We kept on, upgrading, bringing several new innovations, and it will continue. And I would say, project of this size and scale has survived only because, we have not sit tight after launching the program. We have kept ourselves updated, look at the global trends and look at the technology trends and upload, brought in all the changes, as soon as it was required. But there are a lot of things which still needs to be done. And some of it, very briefly, I mentioned whether it is chatbots or, next level of data analytics or machine learning, artificial intelligence. There are a lot of use cases that we believe, which are available. And there is a need to, but of course, when you are into a contract, there are limitations. So, but going forward, we are looking forward to several new technologies to be integrated. And there will be further improvements in the way, passport services are delivered to the citizens. Briefly on the outcomes, I think each one of you appreciate it because you have used this system. It is now totally self-help application. There's no need for any intermediary. You don't have to be, known to anybody, whether it is a broker or a facilitator. Everything you can do on your own. Total transparency, certainty of service. You are aware when your passport will come because you're able to track. In the last 8 years, we have serviced 82 million passport applicants. So these are the services that we have delivered in the last 7, 8 years of our existence in this new system. And almost 80% of the passports which are live and available in India have been issued by the TCS and MEA Passport Seva application. From 36 touch points in 2008, we are now 500 citizen service touch points, 93 PSKs, 36, 37 RPOs, and 425 post office passport seva kendras, which is another innovation that DOP, TCS, and MEA came together and have innovated to deliver services through the huge network of the post offices, because you probably could not go and set up PSK everywhere, but there were post offices already existing. So we could build a new application and system which could interface, and this almost a replica, rather the complete replica of what we do in PSK will be provided at the POPSK. When I say that we are doing everything keeping citizen in mind, it's very important to also take the feedback, and being a very, very transparent service, we encourage all the applicants to give feedback, and very happy and proud to share that together TCS and Ministry have been able to completely transform the services, and all the applicants, almost 60% of them, when they give us feedback, more than 99.5% rate our services as excellent on all parameters. So there are 10 parameters on which they give feedback, and almost everybody is happy. And if you go to the Twitter or go to the social media, you can actually see those feelings there. Of course, sometimes there are challenges, but they may not be directly related to the MEA. They could be because of some documentation issue, or there could be a police verification issue for some genuine reasons. Sometimes your birth certificate name doesn't match, or your parents' name is given abbreviation. So there are challenges. But in terms of the overall services, almost everyone is elated, and I'm sure many of you who would have gone to PSKs would have experienced those services. And another outcome of is the demystified, as I said, passport services. We have democratized. It is no more a service that you are scared of. Earlier people would think twice before applying for a passport. Today, it is like any other service. I would say the biggest benefit of this transformation is that it has become a off-the-shelf, product kind of a service. You want it, you take it. And as long as your documentation, that to bare minimum now, is available, you will have no problem in getting a passport, and you'll get very, very fast. Security is much more enhanced as compared to earlier. The systems are contemporary and modern, whether it is PSK, IT, application, everything is latest. The government interaction earlier, now it is totally appointment based, and it is tracked. The senior government officers keep tracking what is happening. So they monitor the productivity, they look at the quality of service, everything is available in the system. So your interaction with the government has become much easier. As I said, we have brought the senior government officers right in front of you, and you can sit across the table, chat with them informally, talk to them, and find out why the application is not being granted, what is the document that you need to bring in addition, and then very comfortably talk to them and get your work done. So as unlike earlier, you had to stand outside a cabin, wait for hours, or sometimes you would not meet. All that is now the history, and it has been enabled by this transformation and innovations that we have brought in the last 7-8 years. We appreciate the need to be on the social media. So our Twitter handles are available, and we are all over in the social media. We do extensive engagement with the social media, whether it is Twitter or other social media platforms, but also with the actual media, whether they are news channels, newspapers. We do interact. We conduct very frequently the press conferences, and we share the press releases whenever there's a change happening. In fact, I have personally addressed several press conferences, and we have taken many media houses to the PSKs in the beginning, when there was a social change required, when a lot of people were questioning whether this new system will work, and we were confident. So we went out and approached, and then a lot of media houses visited PSKs. They looked at the process end to end, and then they, pushed it out across the society to make them understand that this is the new system, which is actually going to benefit them. And that's how the whole exercise was carried out to bring this change. One very, very important thing is, as society, as individuals, also for us to change is a challenge. And And we had to put a lot of effort, to bring in that in our collective social, uh, conscience, as we call it, to say that this change would be beneficial and they must embrace. And that's how it happened gradually, but finally it happened. And that helped because we were very active in the media and the social media, and we continue to be. This slide would reflect upon, how the world looks at Passport Seva program of the Government of India and TCS. This is one program of the Government of India which has won largest number of awards in the last 7-8 years. Over 24 awards, and some of them are really iconic. If you look at this list, there are several awards which have been by the private enterprise, by the governments, and even international. This year earlier, I traveled to Las Vegas to collect the Stevie Award for the customer services. Globally by the Stevies is a big organization which recognizes. They also recognize Passport Seva program as a game changer. And then the Web Ratna Award, the Express Technology Award, and several others, including the National Award for the E-Governance Gold that we got in 2014-15 by the Government of India. So the efforts of the government, and I said while TCS is an enabler, I give full credit and I'm thankful and proud to be working with the Ministry of External Affairs, who worked and made sure that these changes and transformation are actually brought out and accepted the change throughout their organization. Some of the snippets I picked up from the Twitter, as you can see, several persons, VVIPs, VIPs, a program or a service delivery platform which is able to make a common citizen happy and also make the celebrities happy, I would say, is the reflects the true success. So you have, Passport touches lives of the entire strata of society, whether it's a plumber or an electrician traveling to the Gulf for the business, to a senior politician, or a CEO traveling to the other country. So everybody comes to the PSK. We have all the film stars, you have cricketers, you think of anybody because everybody needs a passport, they come to the PSK. So there is no differentiation. Everybody gets the same service, same process, and everybody has the same feedback, as you can see on the left hand side, that they all feel that ministry and TCS have really transformed the services, and we have been able to build a completely new India which is aspiring a service quality or the experience which was unthought of earlier. There was a time when you could never think that passport services could be given in this kind of environment. And I would extend this dialogue to say that why only passport services? The several other government departments, whether it is Aadhaar or the driving license, I have seen documents and I've been part of several meetings with very senior politicians and bureaucrats wherein they say, that why can't my department or my service line replicate what has been achieved in the Passport Seva? And they want this success, this benchmark to be used for measuring their own service quality. So this is how Passport Seva has evolved in the last few years, that it has now become a benchmark for the public services. So this program has truly transformed and has brought the best of this country. While we do so much of great work across the world, this is something that we have done for our own country. And I feel very happy and proud being associated, right from day one in this program, from the scratch. I have seen this evolution happening. I have seen these innovations, taking place, and we working, shoulder to shoulder with the Government of India and bringing this change. And I'm very sure that this has actually become a case study. And the basic foundation of success, I would say, is the PPP model, where there is, huge goodwill that, as part of the Tata Group, we carry with us. A lot of investments that we have made, whether they are financial investments or the governance investments, or using our global experience, bring in the best of the world on the table and transforming these services and benefiting the citizens of this country, not only in India, but also across the mission embassies across the globe. So this is the entire journey of the passport that I wanted to share. And I hope that my discussion, while I can keep on talking for hours and hours together, there is so much, but I have to keep it within 1 hour. So I'm sure this would have helped you to understand how the innovations and the continuous evolving process, dynamic systems and the contemporary applications of thoughts and the leadership, really helps to bring the change. And as I said earlier, I would conclude by saying that whatever we have done, every small, little or big change that we have done, we have always kept in our mind that how it will benefit the end user, that is a citizen. And that is the mantra behind this success. Keeping the security, safety, of course, is paramount, but how do we bring the convenience and the comfort to the end user is being the main mantra behind all these innovations. And IT-enabled, process-enabled innovations and changes have been able to bring this transformation. And I'm sure that in years to come, we will do much more and keep bringing the changes which will improve the experience even further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Listening to your experiences, we feel so proud and happy Indians. Thank you, sir, for sharing with us a simplified and quick digitally enabled passport system, its related services and the innovations involved. We are extremely grateful to have you with us. I'd take a moment to welcome Dr. Shelly Garg, ma'am, Head of Electronics Department, who has been with us right from the start of the session. Thank you, ma'am. Students, we have come to the end of a wonderful session. And before I conclude, I would like to thank management of the Institute, Director Sir, Dean Sir, Head of Computer Science and Engineering Department for organizing such events and getting experts like Dogra ji who can influence and motivate us to do better. Besides, I'd also like to thank Asif Sir, Yatin Sir, Ashwini Sir for being all-time support in such kind of events. Last but not the least, our dear students for being wonderful listeners all the time. Thank you. Thank you all. I forgot, in case if anyone has got any question, if anybody would like to ask, they can raise their hands. Is there anyone? I think none. Okay, sir. We can disperse. The meeting has concluded. So thank you once again. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.